ladies and gentlemen. In the recent reports on the ongoing conflict in the Amhara region between the Ethiopian National Defense Forces, ENDF, and the Amhara Fano forces, the situation seems to be intensifying on multiple fronts. As we delve into the latest updates from the battlefield, it becomes apparent that the dynamics are ever evolving. Firstly, it has been disclosed that the Amhara Fano forces successfully dismantled one battalion of the regime forces, eliminating over 100 militias in the process. The capture of modern weaponry adds another layer to the shifting balance of power in the region. Moving on to territorial changes, the town of Kalala in South Wollo is now under the control of Fano Amhara forces. This development is marked by a strategic move against the leaders of the district and security forces in South Wollo zone. Fano surrounded a meeting hall where plans to counter them were being discussed, effectively taking control of the city. In a significant turn of events, the historic city of Lalibela has fallen under Fano's control. The Amhara Fano forces managed to break into the prison, liberating hostages who were unjustly suffering under the command post. As previously mentioned, Fano's control over Lalibela airport has resulted in flight cancellations. The battle near Mariam, another historical city, witnessed a severe blow to the Ethiopian army by Amhara Fano forces. Attempts to set the city on fire by hitting gas stations with heavy weapons were thwarted, and Fano claims that ENDF incurred substantial losses in this engagement. Dogotsuyin city has faced continuous bombardment from BM rockets launched from the motor area by the Ethiopian army. Simultaneously, in the same region, the Ethiopian army suffered casualties in an attack by Amhara Fano forces. In the ongoing saga of conflict, the struggle to breach Degadamot has extended into its fourth day, with reports indicating that Fano's army has made significant strides, capturing numerous members of the opposing force. The intensity of the fighting persists not only in this theater, but also resonates across various regions in Gojam, highlighting the widespread nature of the clashes. Shifting our focus to Shiwarabit city, updates reveal a noteworthy development as the regime's soldiers, previously stationed for patrol and checkpoint duties, have been withdrawn. The implications of this strategic move add a layer of intrigue to the overall dynamics of the conflict, leaving the city in a state of flux. A battlefield marked by fierce encounters unfolds in the towns of Aimba and Olandiba, where Fano's forces, after engaging in intense combat with regime forces, successfully occupy these strategic locations. The reported defeat of the regime's army underscores the resilience and effectiveness of Fano in this particular theater of operations. The city of Mecca becomes a focal point in the conflict as Fano's forces launch a vigorous attack on the Ethiopian army. The aftermath is grim for the ENDF, as heavy losses are reported in the wake of the intense fighting. The strategic significance of Mecca amplifies the impact of this confrontation on the broader dynamics of the conflict. In a notable turn of events, the attempt to initiate a two-front assault to enter Quarit is met with staunch resistance from Fano's forces, resulting in the suppression of the incursion. The resilience displayed by Fano in thwarting this particular offensive further solidifies its position as a formidable force on multiple fronts. Adding another layer of complexity to the unfolding narrative, an attack on the Ethiopian army, escorting the leaders of prosperity, unfolds in the Dangla area. The gravity of the situation is emphasized by the heavy damage inflicted upon the army of Ethiopia in this particular encounter, underscoring the high stakes involved in the conflict. In the unfolding drama of conflict, the historic city of Lalibela, known for its 12th century rock-hewn churches, finds itself at the center of grave concerns as rural areas outside the city witness artillery shelling. The Ethiopian Defense Forces, firing from within the town, have prompted fears among residents that the shockwaves from the heavy weaponry might damage these ancient architectural marvels. The morning of Wednesday witnessed a fierce clash between Fano forces and the Ethiopian Defense Forces, commencing at 8 a.m. according to reports from VOA Amharic, citing AFP as a source. A deacon from Lalibela, speaking anonymously, revealed sightings of Fano forces within the city. Despite this, the airport remains under the control of the Ethiopian Defense Force, as reported by VOA Amharic. Interestingly, both the federal government and Defense Forces authorities have chosen to remain silent on the developments in Lalibela, adding an air of mystery to the situation. Reports suggest that Fano forces approached the city from 4 directions, initiating the confrontation at 8 a.m. The US-based cyber media outlet, Anchor Media, with connections to sources in the conflict zone, confirmed on Wednesday that Fano forces have taken control of Lalibela, except for the airport situated outside the city. Despite these developments, the exact number of casualties from the conflict remains unknown, heightening the uncertainty surrounding the situation. Concerns for the safety of the ancient rock-hewn churches have escalated, with reports indicating that Ethiopian government soldiers have been shelling Fano positions in rural areas with heavy artillery. This is not the first instance of clashes between Fano forces and the defense forces in and around Lalibela, with skirmishes dating back to at least August of this year. In a related development, Anchor Media reported a significant setback for government forces in Gojam as armed resistance in the area has transformed into a popular war. Recurring drone attacks by government forces, despite heavy civilian losses and extrajudicial executions, have failed to quell the resistance, leading to a reported retreat from Kwarit and Dega Damot areas of Gojam. The Amhara region of Ethiopia has been under a state of emergency since August, with the initial intent of disarming Fano forces within 2 weeks. However, Fano forces continue to assert control over various areas in the region, indicating that the conflict shows no signs of abating anytime soon. As the situation continues to evolve, the complexities and uncertainties surrounding Lalibela and the broader Amhara region underscore the enduring and deeply entrenched nature of the conflict.